This is Radar on the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations for the 2021 through 2022 edition of the offseason, Week 16, aka Hotstove. So again, minor deals, overseas deals, coaching announcements. So unfortunately for Rangers fans, one of their top prospects, Josh Jung's, had a labrum strain, so he's going to get shoulder surgery. With no end start time of the season for Major League, it's not good for him because the minor league is still going to start. And the Red Sox have signed Tyler Danish, the former Sox pitcher. That is just going to be organizational depth, but I do see him maybe, just maybe, making the team in the bullpen at some point this season. Reds have signed Zach Godley to a minor league deal. The former Diamondbacks and you name it starting pitcher. Maybe, just maybe, if the Reds are not a playoff team and they're bad, he can get some starts as a fifth starter and eat some innings, or mop-up guy. He's still got value as a starting pitcher. He's just not frontline starting pitching. Twins signed infielder Elliot Soto minor league deal again. They're not sure what they're doing at shortstop, so they're signing everybody who's ever in their life ever played infield. The Mariners signed Patrick Weigel to a minor league deal again. I can see this guy making the team because the Mariners don't have a great pitching staff as a whole, but I don't think how much of an impact still. Dodgers have signed Robbie Erlin to a minor league deal. The Dodgers don't know if they're going to re-sign Clayton Kershaw, what's going to go on with Trevor Bauer, if the league's going to spend him, or if they're just going to cut ties with him. So you're just like, okay, Julio Cruz, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, and of course Walker Buehler, but then you're just like, there's no guarantee with David Price, everybody else. So Robbie Erlin could probably make some starts this year for this team, if not pitching out of the bullpen. The White Sox signed Dwight Smith Jr. to a minor league deal. The former Blue Jay, when the Blue Jays were collecting juniors like Guerrero Jr., and you had Gurriel's brother, and you have Biggio, and you have Dante Bichette. They had so many guys whose brothers or fathers or uncles played Major League Baseball, so you had Dwight Smith. He came up as center fielder. The Orioles, just for some reason, didn't want to play a real center fielder, or they wanted to play real outfielders. So the Sox, though, don't have necessarily an everyday right fielder. They're not sure what's happening with the Cespedes brother, and if Adam Engel can stay healthy, or if they're going to make Eloy the full-time DH. So I'm thinking that because I don't know if they're going to bring back Brian Goodwin or Billy Hamilton, Dwight Smith Jr. seems like the natural fit to be one of the rotational outfielders, because now with a 26-man roster, you can have another position player on the team. He could be the fourth outfielder, the fifth outfielder. That's going to be a good signing because he's not that old. So it's like Dwight Smith Jr.'s father, he won a World Series, and his father played a long time. He's only 29 years old. He's basically the same age as me. So he's still got some time to prove he can be a useful piece. Dubray Ramos, the journeyman relief pitcher, goes back and forth between teams. Is going to independent baseball again. It's the only way he can get a guaranteed contract because he wants to show he can still pitch well enough. National side Reed Garrett to minor league deal. They're not going anywhere, so I could see him probably potentially pitching for them. Lance McCullers has announced he's behind in his rehab. It doesn't matter if there's going to be no season right away. He's got plenty of time to rehab. Josh Reddick, who bounced from minor league team to minor league team during this past season, is going off to Mexico. At one time, Josh Reddick was one of the better two-way players and a useful piece on multiple playoff teams. But hey, everybody at some point hits a decline and their careers are toward the back nine, and that's probably where it is right now. He'd probably be best suited if he goes to a National League team. Now, I know if they have a universal DH, but still a pinch hitter backup off the bench. Oswaldo Arcia, the older brother of Orlando Arcia, is signing a deal to join the American Association, which is an independent baseball league. The one-time slugger with the Twins and the Padres is one of those all-or-nothing guys who can't play the outfield, but he can slug and hit home runs. The question is, how often does he do it when he strikes out? He's trying to build up his value. Same thing with Darnell Sweeney, the one-time Major League utility player for the Dodgers, amongst other teams. He's also going to independent ball. Oliver Perez is right now pitching in Mexico, and he's announcing that when the season is over, the man who's from Mexico, is going to announce his retirement. When I was growing up and he was a pitcher for the Mets, I'm like, man, this dude was a reject from the Padres and the Pirates, and he's just not a great starting pitcher. But he turned around and became a relief pitcher and bounced around from Seattle to Arizona to Houston to the Nationals and to the Indians to help the Indians when the Indians were playoff teams. And then he keeps signing minor league deals and keeps repeating this cycle over and over and over. He became the longest tenured Mexican player in league history, and he's turned around a career. So you could say when it's all said and done, you went from flailing starter in San Diego, Pittsburgh, and the Mets and whatnot to becoming a useful relief pitcher, lefty specialist until the age of 40. So you had a very, very long career that started in 2002. You played almost 20 years of Major League Baseball. That's pretty darn good. Frank Hermann the former pitcher who is 37, who had pitched, overseas after playing for the Phillies. He has announced that he is joining the Blue Jays front office in a scouting player development and baseball ops role. So his career is officially over. Mets have signed Felix Pena just under the wire. That happened this afternoon to minor league deal. He's a type of swing guy. So the Mets aren't sure exactly how their rotation is going to line up due to health and everything. And now they got Scherzer and DeGrom. But the question is also with the bullpen that's been shaky. So Felix Pena will definitely pitch some crucial innings for this team. I'm not sure if it's going to be as a starter or a relief pitcher. But that's a good move. That's the type of move where you get guys who can do both. That's what you want. You want guys who can start and relieve. That's something that you definitely want. So that's a good move there. Jake Elmore is joining the Phillies minor league coaching ranks. The former utility player who, as you call it, is a journeyman guy. He bounced around Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. And then it took him 3 years to go back to the major leagues and play in 2019 with the Pirates. But he played with the Reds, and he played with the A's, and he played with the White Sox, the Astros. There's a lot of teams that he played with, the Blue Jays, the Marlins. He went back to the White Sox, played for the Pirates and the Indians minor league team last year, and then the Phillies just before last year. So at this point, he's like, I'm not going to make it anymore as even a major league utility player. I don't want to be a AAA utility player. So he's decided that he is going to be a coach in the Phillies minor league system. He's one of the handful of players who have played pitcher and catcher in the same game. He was the 14th player in MLB history to play all 9 positions throughout a season when he played for the Astros in 2013. So when it's all said and done, he can say, yeah, I got that on my resume. That is something that I am proud about. And the Yankees have decided to retire Paul O'Neill's number 21. The problem with Paul O'Neill is the Yankees have been around for a long time, and they've signed and traded for a lot of great players. So I don't know if he's Hall of Fame all-time great status to get his number retired, like most of the Yankees players whose numbers are retired. That's where I'm just like, I don't really know if that's where I'm going with a guy that I'm going to retire the number. Because the Yankees famously don't have any retired numbers. Like, all these single digits are gone. And Futurama, when he first goes to a baseball game, he asks why they're wearing fractions. He's like, oh, we've run out of jersey numbers because he retired them all. So that's one of the better jokes, in my opinion, because I love baseball and I like watching Futurama. That is something that they talked about, and how all the baseball teams, not just the New York team, ran out of numbers. And that's where I'm just like, that's funny. It really is, because problem with Paul O'Neill is he also played for the Reds, and he was great with the Reds. He's like a great player, but he's not an all-time great. That's the thing. When I did my ultimate baseball team, he didn't make the cut for the Reds because they've been around the longest out of any team. And the Yankees have been around for a long time too. So, and they have a lot of great players. So he doesn't make the all-time Yankees or the all-time Reds, but he's pretty good. I don't even know if the Reds retired his number because he's not a Hall of Famer. But that when you're looking at it all said and done, you're like, it would make sense if it's more of the Reds than he was with the Yankees to be retired, even though he helped the Yankees achieve some playoff success. Yeah, as I'm looking here at the Reds team, outside of Pete Rose, who obviously we all know why he's not in the Hall of Fame, and Dave Concepcion, who should be in the Hall of Fame, yeah, his number's not retired by the Reds, so I'm a little surprised there's that. So the other sad news is if baseball games are not, if they don't reach an agreement by a certain time, then they're going to cancel games. They're not going to make them up. The season will be officially delayed. That's negative for now. But what's sad is former Major League second baseman Julio Cruz, the one-time Mariner, and he was on the White Sox teams in the playoffs when they were good in the 80s. He has passed away at the age of 67. He is in the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Hall of Fame, and he was a broadcaster for the Mariners. He wasn't the world's greatest player, but he made an impact with the Mariners, and they brought him back because from 1978 to 1980, he stole over 40 bases each season and was the team's all-time leader in stealing bases, nicknamed the Cruiser. His franchise record of 290 total bases was passed by Ichiro, but, that's something. And he was on a divisional pennant team with the White Sox, and, he wasn't like an all-time great or a binder card for me, but he had an impact with the Mariners in stealing bases and broadcasting for them and helping the White Sox in the playoffs. So it's a sad day that we lost Julio Cruz this week in baseball. So at the age of 67, rest in peace. Thanks for listening to another edition of the 2021-2022 MLB Hotstove, edition, because it is the 21 season that happened, but it's the 2022 season right now. Hotstove edition for Major League Baseball Week 16. For On the Radar Entertainment Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.